Uy, puta. It's kind of steep in here, sorry for that. What's up everybody, what's going on? Welcome to El Boquerón in San Salvador, El Salvador. We're here. Catching right now the sunrise. So just look, it's beautiful right now. All the city lights are on and it's nobody out here. Like, this is what I really love about photography. It's just like the early light. The early light will always be like the prettiest. And yeah, I'm gonna take a picture of the city lights turned on and the sunrise at the back, and I'm gonna show you how I did. I'm gonna take it with a 50mm and all of that blabbering and shit. And yeah, let's go. It's kind of freezing right now. It's like 4 a.m. in the morning and I'm freezing. I didn't brought my jacket, left it in the car with all my equipment, but we're just scouting the place and it's gonna be a great picture. Let's go get the equipment. Plus I left my car upstairs. Okay, it's kind of like a complicated photo that I want to make, but I'm gonna show you the easy way to do it. I'm gonna blend in the sunrise, the city lights, and everything that's up in the viewscape. Let me show you how it is. Right now, I'm setting up my equipment. This is the equipment I'll use. It's a 50mm lens. It's a 1.4 from Canon. And why am I using a 50mm lens just instead of using wide angle? I'm using a 50mm lens because the compression makes it look like everything makes it look a lot more closer, just like everything looks a lot taller. There's a big difference between like 50mm and a 10mm lens, which is a wide angle versus like prime lens. Different. Like, this is how it looks with a wide angle. Let me show you. Wide angle look. This is 50mm. This is exactly how it looks like. See the difference? See the difference of using a 50mm lens versus a wide angle lens kind of on the pictures? That's the difference. The compression is just a little bit like everything looks like more like precise like that. So I'm going to set up my camera over here, place it this way, and then these are going to be the settings I'm going to use. I'm going to put it on aperture priority, then I'm going to put up my f-stop, increase f8. I'm using f8 because this is like the sharpest setting I can get on the camera with this lens while taking a landscape picture. This is like the recommended setting for landscape pictures. It's an aperture of f8. And this is the framing that I'm having. I'm gonna set it this way. Okay, I'm just gonna focus. Let's see how it focuses. I'm trying to focus like just right there. I'm trying to focus on the mountain. But you know what? Like, I really like this framing that I have, but I just want to like capture like almost everything over here and then almost everything over there. And just a little bit of the sky. You know what? I'm just gonna try to put the camera vertically and then just try to make a panorama out of it and then stitch it on Photoshop. I'm taking a panorama, I'm not taking it like this way. I'm actually taking it this way. It makes a lot more sense because if I end up taking a picture this way, the picture frame will look like this. And I mean, it's kind of okay, but like you don't want to have like that long. Like, you want to have it like vertical for this, so you can have this much of space. So I'm gonna take the picture like this, pan around a little bit, just like take one single picture, later the other, pan a little bit, more to the right, pan another bit to the right, till leaving a single space between pictures, so just like that, like this much of space. Like, you'll see the pictures later on the computer, like they have a little tiny spacing, and those are the settings I'm using. f8, which is basically a very sharp. Using an f8 aperture makes your pictures look like very tack sharp. They're like sharp, they're not blurry, and I'm using an ISO 100. ISO is basically the exposure from the camera, and I want to use as less possible of the exposure for the camera because I really want to get the highlights. The highlights being the sky and the sunset. Like if you add exposure to that, most probably you won't have the right specific color. Like you won't have the correct brightness out of the sky. So I don't want to add exposure to that. I want to have the real color, which is basically that purple that we saw in the pictures. Plus, I'm not adding exposure to the picture because I really want to get the city lights. Because it's 5 a.m. in the morning, everybody's just still asleep and lights are still on. So if we get to mix a picture with the lights plus the sunset of the sky, like we have a perfect luminosity of the pictures. So yeah, that's how you take the picture. Let's take it to Photoshop and let's see how we edit it. So, what's up? As I was telling you before, this is gonna be kind of like a not really complicated tutorial, but it's gonna be like an intermediate level. So I promise you, like on the next future videos, I will like get into more like details on my photography stuff, but this is essentially an intermediate video. But if you follow along slowly and carefully, and if you want to pause the video, you can surely learn how I'm doing it. So I'll try and explain it as carefully as I can as possible, and yeah, let's get started with the tutorial. Over. Go. I'm just gonna import my photos and put them into Lightroom right now. Just opening Lightroom right now. And I have already carefully selected the pictures I'm gonna use, all the panoramas I'm gonna use. Remember, it's like vertical panoramas that I'm gonna use. So I'm gonna shift click them, I'm gonna click on photo merge, and then I'm gonna click in here panorama. This is going to open Lightroom's ability of panorama, which is pretty good. Essentially, it works wonders. Photoshop's ability for panorama is a lot better, but if you want to get through it quickly, it's the Lightroom's ability. So it's going to give you three options. It's going to give you spherical, cylindrical, and perspective. I usually go for perspective, and then where it says boundary warp, I'm going to use it. I'm going to put it up to 100%. This will immediately eliminate the white bars that are left from the panorama, which is basically on top and downstairs. Then I'm just going to click merge, and then we're going to scroll down, and there's a picture already loaded as a panorama. I'm going to set it up to a color label so I can have it more organized. I'm going to right click and put it to yellow, and then I'm going to choose the other pictures, which are the sunset pictures. As you can see, I'm going to right click, do the same as panorama, click on perspective, then just click merge. Set the both to yellow. Once my pictures are all loaded, I'm just going to click both of them pictures. I'm going to right click them, go to edit in, and then just click edit in Adobe Photoshop CC, which is going to immediately load them all together. Once I have my pictures all loaded, I'm going to click V, click and grab the picture, and just drag it on top of the other one. So now I'm going to lower the opacity and just grab the picture and just place it exactly where it needs to be. By lowering the opacity, I can see perfectly and see through where the picture is going to be located. Now, once the picture is matching with the mountain, I'm going to get my opacity back to 100, see that everything's matching, and now I'm going to start with a very nice part. Like, how am I going to blend the sky, like the sunset sky, with the city lights? So there's an option in Photoshop where it's called the channels, which is going to represent your RGB colors, which is going to be your red, green, and blue. These channels tell you how much luminance of each color is represented on the picture. So if you click the red channel, it's going to show you only how much red is on the picture. Then it's going to show you on the other tab how much green, and how subsequently it's how much blue on the channels. So if I come here and Command Control click on the RGB channel on the thumbnail, it's going to carefully select all the highlights, which are the red, green, and blue. Then I'm going to click Save Selection as a new channel. It's going to create a new channel which is called Alpha 1, which contains all the red, green, and blue colors from the highlights. I'm going to Command or Control click that one. Then I'm going to go back up to my Layers channel, make a new group, add a new layer mask,
and that will immediately create a new layer mask that it's only going to be able to blend the highlights from the picture. I'm going to drag the layer with the sunrise sky in it, and I'm going to drag it onto the group 1. Now once I drag it, I'm going to unclick the disable button, and I'm going to show up the whole sky. Now I'm going to click a new layer mask so I can grab the brush and carefully reveal all the highlights that I want on the picture, which is the sky and the city lights. Once I finish with the city lights, I'm going to move on to the group layer, and I'm going to carefully paint over the sunrise. I'm going to set the brush to a very low flow, and I'm going to reveal the sky with the sunrise in it. I gotta be a little bit careful in here because it's only gonna be able to show me the highlights. I'm just gonna carefully color on these clouds. And if you look carefully, it's only letting me draw on top of the highlights. If you go back into the shadows or just like anything lower from the picture, it's not gonna let me. That is the benefit of working with luminosity channels, because it makes a perfect blend between the highlights and the shadows. And if you, by just any mistake, just like try to color on top of the shadows, it's not gonna lend you. It's just gonna make a perfect blend. Now, once this is done, I'm just gonna right click and click flatten image. I'm gonna move back the picture to Lightroom. And I'm just gonna start tweaking the photo to the way I want it. But remember, this is kind of like a taste, kind of like a user taste for it. There's no rule for it. It's just the way you want it. So I'm just gonna increase the highlights because I really want to get the city lights a little bit more showing. Plus, I kind of the way I see it's the sky. It's just a little bit underexposed. I want to bring up the values of it, show very vivid colors from it. So I'm gonna increase the highlights. Adjust the white balance, put up some vibrance because I want to have the colors very vibrant and more saturated. Then I'm just going to create the gradient filter and just kind of drag it on top of the sky because I really want to bring back the real colors of it, like those vibrant, like yellowish and purple colors. Add a little bit of clarity. And just add some small details to the sky, because I see some like orange parts on the sky, and I want to bring the luminosity and the saturation of it. So I'm going to click the luminosity and saturation bottoms, drag it up a little bit, bring the real values, and we're done with the first part of the picture. I'm just going to sharpen it a little bit, just adding about like 38 or 40. Then just moving up to step 2. This is kind of like what adds really my style to a picture. I'm gonna right click it and then I'm just gonna edit it on color effect, like NYX Color Effects Pro. This will add a little bit more of contrast to the picture, which is gonna add a lot more like dynamic range, a lot more contrast, a lot more clarity. By the way, this program is free, NYX Color Effects Pro. I'm going to click on the tab of Pro Contrast and I'm just going to set the values to where I want it. I think right about here is okay. Before and after. Yeah, see the difference? I'm going to click Save. Now, once the picture is saved, now load it up again to Lightroom. I'm just going to add my personal filter, one of the filters I really like to use. So it has a really more like artistic style, more like Oscar kind of style. Remember, this is up to your taste. If you feel the picture is really good till the moment, just leave it there. Set the values where I think the picture is looking beautiful. There we have it. Before, after, before, after. See how beautifully it's looking, the pictures. Plus, we didn't even like colorize it too much. Like we didn't add too much things on Lightroom. We just didn't edit it too much of the colors. It's keeping it very natural, and like you see, it's mostly done on camera. And just to add some final touches to the picture, I'm just gonna clean it up a little bit. I'm gonna open it again in Photoshop, clone out these spaces. Save the picture. And yeah, that's about it. See how I edited this picture? It's kind of like easy. It's a very like kind of like intermediate level kind of like tutorial. It's easy to follow through, and it's not that hard to make it through. You just only need a little bit of patience. Just kind of like think through the way you want the picture. But that's how you blend in the sky and the sunrise of this picture. So yeah, I hope you like it. And if you want more tutorials about this, or any more advanced tutorials, or just like a little bit more basic tutorials, just like click the like and subscribe button, and I'll be right up there. Yep. My name is Oscar, and see you at the next one.